So, rhubarb. In my opinion, there's two real classic dishes. You've got a rhubarb crumble and rhubarb fool. And I'm actually going to show you a rhubarb and ginger crumble. Slightly different and an added twist. The twist comes when you actually cook the rhubarb. Now you need probably about sort of 8 to 10 stems like this. And then we're going to chop this up. Now if the rhubarb's a little tough, or if it's later on in the season, what you will need to do is peel it. But this just shouldn't be too bad actually. So we chop all this lot up. Straight the way through, and then taking our rhubarb, we'll place the whole lot and pop it into your dish. Now I'm going to use one of these oven trays because this is where it's slightly different, because we're actually going to cook it in the oven. And the reason why, if you do cook it in a pan, I think it causes the rhubarb to be very runny and all the liquid tends to come out of the rhubarb and you end up with more of a liquid mess rather than a nice pieces of rhubarb in your crumble. And then all we have to do is sprinkle that with a touch of water and some sugar. Now I'm going to use caster sugar for this because I'm going to use the demerara sugar on the top, but we take a fair bit of caster sugar really, place it on the top, just sprinkle that over the top, about 6 to 8 tablespoons for a piece like this. So you roughly go on about 1 tablespoon per stem of rhubarb. There we go. Plenty of sugar, and then some water, just a little bit of water. We want to sprinkle that on the top like that, over the top. Now not too much because this will cause also this crumble to be runny, so you just put a little bit of water on like that. That's plenty. And then we need to bake that in the oven. Now I've set the oven about 180 degrees centigrade on a fan, which is about 350, 360 degrees Fahrenheit, and this needs to cook for about 10 minutes so the rhubarb's nice and soft. And while that's cooking, I'm going to show you a great little topping. Now the topping for most crumbles is exactly the same really. You start off with equal quantities of sugar and butter. And I've got here some demerara sugar and some softened butter, equal quantities of each. We take the demerara sugar first, place that into our bowl, and then add the softened butter, which we've got there. And all we do is just blend this together. There we go. In a machine or using one of these hand whisks, mix in the sugar and the butter. There we go. So we need to blend these really well together. That's it. Blend them all up. You don't need to whisk it too much, not till it goes to sort of a cream. Then what we can do is add the flour. And just add enough flour really to make a crumb. Now add it slowly. If you're using one of these machines, you'll know the reason why, because it will spray all over. So just keep adding your flour till you get a nice crumb. As you can see, it's starting to go to a crumb now. It gets to this sort of style texture. The more flour you add, the thinner the crumb or the smaller the crumbs will be. Now you need roughly, on average, about double the amount of flour to butter. So that's something you're looking at as a guideline. You just really need to keep adding it, really. It's just by looking at it, add a little bit more. If you like the crumbs very fine, add even more flour. That's your simple crumb now finished. So what you're looking for in this nice crumble topping is this sort of texture. Now you need to just look at it and just keep adding the flour till you get to this sort of stage. And just as a guideline, what you can do is just hold it in your hand like that and press it. And if it starts to hold together a little bit, that's when it's ready. But you just want to press it again and it should crumble away like that. That's when you know that crumble topping is about perfect. So we've got the topping. I'll just go get my rhubarb. So our rhubarb is now nicely cooked here. There we go. You can see it's steaming away nicely on there. Now it appears uncooked until you actually just press it with a palette knife or a fork and it starts to crush up. You can just then incorporate all this mixture together with our other flavouring that we pop in there as well. Now I'm popping it in this stage because I actually like ginger in at this point in time, because I think especially when you're using powdered ginger like what I'm doing, it goes particularly well because we're going to bake it in the oven, don't forget, with our topping. But I've got a little bit of powdered ginger here which we can sprinkle over the top of your pieces like that. Just powdered ginger all over the top like that. Other flavourings in there as well are blueberries and rhubarb. That's a good one. And also honey. You can pour a little bit of honey on as well just to alter the flavour slightly. Press this all down so you get that mixture of the ginger and the rhubarb already in there like that. That looks fantastic. Look at that. Then all we have to do is place this into another dish, because we're actually going to bake this in the oven. So we're going to pop it into our oven-proof dish here, and then we're going to bake this in the oven with our topping on. So a good layer of the rhubarb, I think, in there. There we go. I can manage to put the lot in like that. Then we're going to top this with the crumble mixture. So put plenty on, like that. Sprinkle it all over the surface, like that. So you get a nice, even coating all the way around. Once it's nicely coated, we need to bake that back in the oven. The oven's at the same temperature, about 180, 170, 180, and this needs to go in just to the top starts to cook. It'll probably take about 8 to 10 minutes just to cook that crumb on the top. Right, so we can take our crumble out. Got bubbling away nicely. Bring that over. So with this crumble, all we're then going to do is just simply serve this up. My favourite with crumble really is either double cream or ice cream, whatever you want to do really, one or the other. We take some of our lovely crumble in here and just break this through. There you go. It reminds you of those school dinners, doesn't it really? We just place that onto our plate. It's lovely flavour, the rhubarb and the ginger as well. Scoop that out. And then personally, I think I'm going to have some ice cream with this, so a good scoopful with this crumble. A little bit more. And there we have rhubarb and ginger crumble.